It took me a while to figure out that the sound was coming out of his butt. You know, I don't know, and I well, take a cat, rub it on a cat, and that cat gets all fat. Not too sure what's up with that.
Mewgenics. All right. This is going to be. I wanted to get a quick Mewgenics video out before it comes out, and at the time of recording, 6 days. So this is February 4th at the time of recording. Mewgenics comes out February 10th. Wishlisted, by the way. Wishlisted, by the way. I've had an interesting relationship with Mewgenics. I should say I'm about 24 years old. And Mewgenics, this is the original teaser. You have to get this right. It's not Mewgenics. Sorry, it's Mew-Genics. See? The current logo has no hyphen in it, so it's kind of interesting how that changed. But if you're talking about this incarnation of the game, you have to say Mew-Genics. That's exactly how you say it. Mew-Genics, exclamation point. So anyways, my relationship with Mewgenics is that at the time of the reveal, what time was this? This was 12 years ago, August 31st, 2013. So at the time, I was 11 years old. So I definitely knew of the Binding of Isaac at the time. I learned of Binding of Isaac when I was watching Northern Lion, and eventually I did get caught up in the rebirth hype, and that was about 2014. So I think Mewgenics is a thing I found out like kind of like curiously looking. Like I was looking at more rebirth stuff just for like information when I was like, oh, what's this Mewgenics game? Is this something that's happening? At the time, I think I was too young to understand that games, they might not always come out if they're announced. So I always thought this was just like a weird like animated thing that Edmund did, but it turns out, oh, it was supposed to be an actual video game. There's no actual gameplay in the video, but it does certainly paint a picture of what this game is supposed to be about here. Cats, obviously. So, fun fact for you, this game was a Game Jam prototype that, it had its origins in a Game Jam with, Edmund worked on with Tommy Refenes of Team Meat. This is supposed to be the next big game they worked on after Super Meat Boy. This is like their big game, their big crazy game. And, well, obviously, speaking later about that, things didn't go so well with Tommy, but we'll talk more about that. So, obviously it's a very... You can think it's something like if you look at it, it's kind of like a 40s, 50s like cartoon. That's kind of the look of it. It's a kind of a desaturated, non-technicolor cartoon with cats, and this is definitely one of the inspirations for Mewgenics here. Rub it on a cat, and that cat gets all that. Oh, this is of course the first game that would be scored by Ridiculon of Matthias Bossi and John Evans. Again, I talked about Ridiculon in the last video I did. Also, speaking of, I said in the last video I'd be talking about a mod for the Binding of Isaac that I was going to talk about. That was the Binding of Isaac Sacrilege music mod, which is a continuation of the original Flash soundtrack. I'll be talking about that later, but currently the composer is still working on the next final-ish volume of it. So whenever that comes out, he kind of increased the scope of it. So that'll probably, I don't know, March, April, whatever. He can take a sweet-ass time, because that's going to be something I'm going to go very in-depth in talking about that. I didn't really talk about it in the Danny Baranowski music video, but that soundtrack means a ton to me, and seeing someone else take a stab at expanding it, that's interesting. But we're talking about Mewgenics here. What the hell am I doing? You'll see it eventually. So this is the original teaser. I told you about my relationship with it, and coming blank. They censored it. This happened quite a while ago. It's very interesting to see that, but obviously, this incarnation of Mewgenics did not get off the ground, and I think even in the beginning here, you see the Team Meat logo. This is obviously the Team Meat logo was censored. So this version of Mewgenics did not get much anywhere, but it's still a very interesting historical curiosity, because this is a game that's been... you could look at it being in like 15 years of development, because it's currently going to release in 2026, which is this year. We're just less than a week away. And this original teaser was in 2013. It might actually have been earlier. I think 2012 was the origin of the game. So, it was announced on the Meat Boy blog. It was like 2012, 2013. That's definitely off the cuff of Wrath of the Lamb, but I'm not really sure what the development timeline of Mewgenics is. I think, the genesis of the idea was definitely 2012, because this is the next game that Team Meat was going to do. And the Binding of Isaac, which was supposed to be a side game, was in 2011. So it's like they probably had this conversation, I guess, about the genesis of the idea was probably in 2011 or 2012, if I had imagined. the timeline isn't really too defined. I did ask Ridiculon during a stream for one of their songs, Matthias, I imagine, about when they composed them originally, and they said 2011 to 2012, which I'm not sure if that's like spotty memory or if that's actually true, because if so, that means this game was kind of being developed concurrently with the original Binding of Isaac, which is interesting. But you know, I mean, Edmund certainly has a habit of juggling multiple projects, at least at this time. Like I would say up until he was working on I mean, I guess still up to today, because you know, even Repentance's release, you know, Mewgenics still was kind of also being worked on at the time. That was also being worked on. It's like Edmund is not. He doesn't really have to be like fully into the game when he's working. He's a designer. He can have ideas. It's mostly the programmer that kind of takes the brunt of things, and like all the projects he was working on, like in the mid 2000s or not mid 2000s, mid 2010s, all had different programmers, so he could definitely multitask. But you know, he definitely had, you know, he had his hands full. He had his hands full. So that's the Mewgenics teaser here. It's like if I'd imagine, you know, 2011, 2012, 2013, around that range. And speaking of Ridiculon, they were not originally slated to do the soundtrack for Mewgenics. I believe there was a post on Edmund's old Tumblr blog that said that Danny Baranowski was also considered for that. I think I talked about that in my Danny Baranowski video, but he was tested. He was tested, but he couldn't really get that jazzy style or that kind of eccentric style that Edmund was looking for the game. But you know, again, I talked about Ridiculon, I talked about Danny Baranowski. Those are the composers. I'm deeply obsessed with them. We got to move on. So, Mewgenics, I would say also its origins, like inspiration-wise, was in Edmund's time as an animal control officer. This is a live journal from the year 2003, and this is an interesting little website to look at. Edmund has always had social media presence for many years, and this is what he was using to dump all of his thoughts before Twitter, before his Tumblr blogs. In the year 2003, I was 1 year old then. But yeah, he's talking about being an animal control officer, a bunch of little stories here. I probably just recommend you read through this yourself. I mean, if you're an Edmund obsessive like me, he certainly has left a lot of breadcrumbs around the internet about his career and his thoughts. He's definitely not a quiet person. He will talk to you about all of his experiences, and he'll be happy to answer questions. He's pretty much been the same person for like 25 years. Like he's been remarkably consistent, and his taste, his, you know, the themes that run through his games, like it's all been there. Like he hasn't really changed much. It's just that it takes a long time to get his ideas out. So this is we're gonna go hop back to the original Mewgenics teaser here. So what did this game actually look like? Well, here is a Eurogamer article from the time, kind of showing off what the game looked like. It's certainly quite different, but it's really quite similar to how it is today. I mean, you have a house. It's got the slanted roof there. It's got the room. Much of this furniture actually is still kind of reused in the current Mewgenics build. Like it's still good. Edmund still thinks it's good, and he's put it in the current version. But obviously, you can tell a lot less color, a lot less polish. Of course, it's Edmund doing all the art, which, you know, you can say things, but you can say things about that. You know, in his art style, it's not exactly the best. But I think there's a lot of charm in this look. I think it looks really interesting. You can see the cats don't have noses here, or some of them do anyways, and this is something that Edmund actually later changed for the current build of Mewgenics. He thinks that the lack of nose makes things more cute, and I'm inclined to agree. So this is the original Mewgenics build, of course. Team Meat, Tommy Rafenis, Evan Millen. This is the team that's working on it. And you have the house gameplay, which is still a part of the current version of Mewgenics, but you also had a bunch of different mini games as well. This is the let's go back here. This is a video from Vine Sauce. Pretty much the only surviving footage that exists of the old build of Mewgenics is you're gonna get through like kind of candid videos like this on YouTube. Like there's not really like any good footage of it. I need a Giga leak. I need an Edmund Villain Giga leak, like the Nintendo leak. I need a Mewgenics leak for this prototype because it's so interesting.
So, Tom,
let's see Vinny talk about this.
It's busy. I'm tired.
are you do you like going to conventions? You enjoy them?
I do. I like the fan interaction. It's nice to see.
Let's skip over.
Be
So here's the game here. Basically, the idea is that you'd have a bunch of mini games, and you take your cats to them, and they all have different kind of, you know. I guess I presume each NPC was also associated with a mini game, because
cats and racing them.
racing them.
Putting them in pageants.
pageants. So that, I mean, I imagine each NPC originally was designed for like each mini game. So Butch is obviously associated with the fights here. I assume the pageants would be Tink. So that's kind of interesting to think about. But how that was later recontextualized and how what their roles originally assumed became later in the current Mewgenics. So this is the gameplay. You know, basically you had all these mini games, and you return your house, breed more cats for these other mini games. But the thing is, this stuff never really got off the ground. It's like we always saw little bits and bobs of what the game really was, and I imagine it's because it's like mini games. Really, it's like I imagine it didn't really appeal to Edmund, but also the game. I mean, well, I imagine Edmund did really like working on it, but like you know who else? You know who didn't? Tommy Refenes, because the game was canceled. Who is responsible for this? And in many streams, you'll see Edmund talking about it, and he says, "Oh, the game was just canceled one day." It's like you work with one other person in a company you made. Who who is responsible for that? It's Tommy Refenes, obviously. So Tommy Refenes canceled the game, and you know why? It's because it's an unsafe bet. They're called Team Meat. He wants to make more Meat Boy because Meat Boy sold like hotcakes on Xbox Live and Steam, and so he wants more Meat Boy money. And to this day, he is still chasing more Meat Boy money. I'm gonna probably talk about Tommy Refenes in a later video, but like this has pretty much been what Tommy Refenes has been doing for the past 15 years, just kind of milking that Meat Boy train, where Edmund is like innovating, making weird offbeat games. Like Mewgenics is like 100% Edmund, and Tommy Refenes is obviously like the programmer. It's obviously there was like a power imbalance there, and Edmund sees it as 50-50, but in that case, maybe the programmer, maybe that person in that relationship, you know, he has these relationships with programmers. They pretty much of his games are like made as a duo with him and a programmer. Like a lot of Flash games of his were like that, and he really liked that kind of working relationship because you know it's nice to bounce off ideas of one person, but his gambling on Tommy Refenes did not really pay off because eventually the game was canned, and I can only presume it was because of Tommy Refenes wanting to make more Meat Boy. It's pretty much it. So I think the original Mewgenics is pretty interesting though because it definitely, I mean, it's an interesting game. It's like you'll have to take my word for it. I can't really explain it right now, but like you know, seeing how different it is in comparison to the modern build, it's like definitely. I mean, obviously he was dissatisfied with it in a sense because Mewgenics later transformed into something else, but at the same time, it's very interesting to see. So, anyways, as I was saying, I need that Edmund the Million Giga Leak, like Nintendo Giga Leak, and I need the original Mewgenics prototype. I need it. Also, Boone County is apparently in North Carolina, by the way. So, I mean, apparently it was later changed. This is a town, by the way. I guess it'd be Boone, the town, rather than the county. But nowadays, I think it's kind of made the location, the setting of Mewgenics is made more. It's been made more vague. Again, which I think is a Simpsons reference, but we'll get it back into that. So, let's go over what happened so far. So, you had the Mewgenics teaser. You had this game coming out. It's this next big game that Team Meat was doing after Meat Boy. This is what they're doing. And okay, it's like things kind of petered out because around the same time, Edmund is also working on The Binding of Isaac Rebirth with Nicholas. So he's got that going on. He's got this kind of shaky relationship with Tommy Refenes, who probably isn't very interested in his weird crack projects he wants to make. He wants to make more Meat Boy because it's a sure, you know, financial. It's going to be safer financially. It's going to be better for him. You know, it's going to be more easy to think about. It's a platformer game. And, you know, around the same time, you also had Super Meat Boy : the game, which is supposed to be like an iOS kind of spin-off, like an endless runner, which did eventually evolve into Super Meat Boy Forever after a long development history as well. So, basically, Team Meat, Tommy Refenes, this whole thing was a giant clusterfuck. And I can't blame Edmund for wanting to leave it because Tommy Refenes is kind of an asshole. I'm just going to say that. It's just like, if I was working with Edmund McMillan, I would be like, yes, master. Anything you say, master. I will do everything for you, master. But, you know, Tommy Refenes really did not see it that way, you know. He had his own ambitions. He had his own kind of ideas about where to take things. And Meat Boy became his in their divorce, unfortunately, which is still something that's really annoying. But also, that kind of split also produced The End Is Nigh. So, you know, things like this, you gotta see the positives and the negatives. But so basically, this version is canceled, and Mewgenics remains in hiatus until 2018, 2019, where This is a blog post that Edmund goes over. This is the first blog post in the Mewgenics store page for Steam that goes over it. And let's see here. 2011, the dust had settled on the release of Super Meat Boy. I really wanted to stretch my design muscles a bit and take bigger risks, so I started experimenting with designs and short game jam-like bursts. So he made Isaac. Isaac became its own thing. It's like Edmund just makes things and they become like global phenomenon. You know, isn't that crazy? Camdrome. Can't wait till that comes out in 2032. I'll definitely make a video about that then. And Mewgenics here. Again, he loves this game. It was canceled because Tommy is a fuckface. And then after The End Is Nigh released in 2017, he wants to make Mewgenics with Tyler Glael, who was a programmer in that game, and he also worked on Aether and other stuff. He has had a very tight relationship with Tyler. In fact, Tyler is probably his best programmer pal he's worked with. Like, Tyler is probably like a whiz at C++, and like probably gets it a lot better. And he's probably a lot more lenient. He probably I mean, he has his own design ideas. Like Mewgenics was designed both by Tyler. The current incarnation was designed both by Tyler and by Edmund. So I think Tyler is probably just the much better person to work with. And, you know, it's great for Edmund that he has someone like that. So after End Is Nigh, they're working on what is Mewgenics going to be. Also, nice Smash Brothers sandbag there. So making a brawler, RTS style. Hey, who's that? It's Isaac. It's Ash as well. Interesting. We're trying a range of genres until they eventually settle on the tactical sim thing. And so instead of a bunch of video games, we're just going to focus on one big game. It's going to be a big, scope creep, massive, tactical role-playing game in the vein of XCOM, Into the Breach, Final Fantasy Tactics, Fire Emblem. It's a whole mix of things. Mewgenics is essentially a giant soup of what Edmund likes, all put into one game. It's crazy. So this is the game he wanted to make after 11 years, and even then, in these screenshots, you can see that they're definitely different to the build we're getting in just a week now. So it's definitely come a long way. So Mewgenics, this was back in 2023, but again, 2019 is when development started. Tyler's working on Tyler's prototyping on it. I think 2021 is when they locked down on the tactical gameplay. This is also concurrently happening with Binding of Isaac Repents as well. So I've been juggling quite a lot of things right now. Also being a dad as well, so that's got to definitely be tough on him. But yeah, so Mewgenics is in development now. This is the new version, the tactical role-playing game. And a lot of people have been talking about the actual gameplay. I see a lot of videos going over like, oh, look at all these abilities and classes and features. It's like, I can get that in game, you know? It's like, I'd rather experience that in game rather than like talking about it. Like, from all that. Like, the game is going to be great. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be endlessly replayable. It's probably going to be even more polished than Isaac is. It's going to be just more massive, and it's going to get DLC even in the future. So it's going to be a crazy game. I get it. I think the best way to experience that, rather than talking about it, is going to be playing it. So I will definitely be doing that. My job here is I want to talk about everything outside of the game, the actual game itself, because I think that's definitely something you need kind of an eye and a certain kind of view to look at. So a small team of animators and artists. So to talk about that, this is also kind of the first game that Evans really worked with. I guess Isaac Rebirth kind of counts because I mean all the art in that game was done by the Nicholas artists, and but like this is the game where you see both his style and the kind of combination of some other artists he really likes as well. So this is the team here. We have a lot of people who worked with him on Four Souls. Tyler, the animator Marty here, Chase North, Wes Sense. I haven't really heard of these people. I should probably look more into them. But where's the artist here? Come on. Diculon. Yes, these are the artists here, which you can definitely tell, like, looking at the screenshots, like, you have the kind of admittedly shitty looking art of Edmund matched with these, like, really interesting backgrounds, and the one who's responsible for that is Sony Shock, who actually did my profile picture on YouTube, by the way. A great artist. Definitely kind of contrasts with Edmund's look here, but that's kind of the point, because he wants the backgrounds to kind of contrast with his drawings, because, like, in old cartoons, the drawings were kind of painted on watercolor, and then you have this animation cells overlaid over top. So, again, this stuff is all intentional. Edmund really likes empowering artists. He hires artists, and he wants them to do whatever they want and do their own thing. Like, that's kind of his MO with other people he works with. He really likes having them take his characters, his worlds, and kind of putting them through their own lens. That's really something he likes. So you have Sony Shock, Vivian Voss, Takara. These are all Four Souls people he worked with. This person also did the Binding Isaac tarot cards. Those are trading cards for the Steam game. Isaac Rebirth has those. So Yeah, he's assembled his dream team. He's got all of his Isaac money. Mewgenics is his mega passion project. He's just putting everything into it, everything. So that's kind of an overview of what Mewgenics is now. So we moved from the kind of Edmund doing all the arts. It's a mini game collection with a programmer that really is kind of backstabbed him, and he's ready to make Mewgenics now. Now that he's split, he took Mewgenics in the divorce. Tommy got Me Boy. He got Mewgenics, and he's like, F you. I'm making this the best, most unique, most personal thing ever. It's awesome. It's fucking awesome. All right. Oh, yes. I also want to talk about the vocal cameos. This is crazy. So basically, Edmund, with his connections, he lives in California, after all. Of course, he has a little benefit. He can just get a bunch of famous people to do voices in his game. And this is, like, crazy. Like, what other game has this where you have a bunch of, like, crazy celebrity cameos as voices in the game? Let's listen to some. I believe this cat right here is Michael Stevens of Vsauce, but a lot of other cats are kind of hard to tell. Isn't that just awesome? And it's like, I've heard of some other vocal cameos are going to be in the game. A lot of people, of course, Edmund likes and like thinks are like eccentric outsider artists. Like Ricky Berwick is probably one. Ricky Berwick is he's kind of I don't even know what condition he has, but Edmund really has a taste for the kind of physically and mentally, I don't know what word is proper nowadays in the year 2026, but afflicted people, and he finds them deeply interesting, and because I imagine he sees himself in them, and maybe more so. It's just that being outsiders, being people who go against the grain, both physically, mentally, and what they do, and what they and what art they make. This is like Edmund's biggest thing. It's like weird artists he likes that have interesting stories and interesting characteristics about themselves, whether it be mostly, physical, mental disabilities, all that. He's totally about that. And that's why it's also a thing in the game with all the mental, physical disabilities. You have autism as a disability, ADHD, all this stuff, and it's like this is what Edmund likes, and this is like the strain that goes through all of his work. It's like if you see these things, you'll see them pop up everywhere else, and it's like. It's all connected. It's all interesting. There's a continuity, an eccentric taste that goes through all of his work, and that is especially why I'm utterly infatuated with Edmund Millen as an artist. Pause. But I mean, it's just like you can see this taste and then this continuity throughout all of his work, and it's so apparent. It's so interesting. It's so deep and complex, and it's especially that's what I really like about art. It's like I like seeing this personality come through it, and Edmund Millen's games have it in spades. Like if Mewgenics was a game where it's like you breed colored blocks or something, and there's boring, bland boxes, it's like it wouldn't be as interesting. There's a reason why it's all weird, ugly, randomly generated cats, and all the with vocal cameos from Vsauce. It's like you need this personality to make the game shine. You need that eccentricity, and like I have some gripes with what McMillan does sometimes, but it's like. Regardless, what he does is like he's an innovator. He's instead of taking an old game and just reskinning it. I mean, I guess you could say the same for Mewgenics and it being like an XCOM clone or whatever. But like he's making a new video game. He wants to make something new, and he has like a TikTok about this, talking about the biggest problem in any games. It's that, and he gets it. He fucking gets it. So there's my little mini rant right now. But I mean, Mewgenics is really more inspired by like board games and Magic the Gathering. He's talked about this in streams and whatnot, like the idea of drafting, like having a limited selection of elements, of resources, and being able to make builds from that, and and characters and gameplay strategies like that. That's his MO. Like this is him essentially revisiting ideas he's had. Like he did the same thing in Bumbo, having different items and different combos and personalities, and then Isaac, of course. And this is just him continuing that, because that's something he really likes. He likes the playground kind of idea where he has like a bunch of crap he throws in the game. And it's like, how does this mix together and like make something, deeply infinite and impossible? And that's what he likes. So this is the team behind Mewgenics. Very interesting. All the backgrounds and whatnot. Very interesting. And he is just here along for the ride. So what else to talk about? Talked about the game. Talked about its inception. Talked about its a genre shift here and the new incarnation with Tyler. In development for 6 years. I mean, using assets from 15 years ago and it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting to talk about. But I'd like to talk more about the inspirations of the game. This is the intro of the game. Some people say this looks like Adventure Time, but it's not actually Adventure Time. Okay. Pan up to the clouds, logo reveal, narrator. What does it remind you of? The Simpsons. This is a Simpsons gag. In fact, it's such a Simpsons gag. Like, it's literally a Simpsons intro, because look at it. There's a couch gag. The cat changes every time you play the intro. It's like, what other game is doing this? What other game is doing this? You know, that's just so interesting to me. It's like, Mewgenics is, like I said before, it's a big soup of all of Edmund's tastes and preferences and eccentricities and personality. So, like, right here, 90s cartoons with Simpsons, but also, like, 40s, 50s old classic cartoons. But he was talking about this in an interview, Edmund. He said that he kind of moved away from that a little bit because kind of Cuphead took the thunder, and I can't blame him. It's like, I mean, Edmund, I love you, but like you're not drawing Cuphead, basically, you know. So, you know, I talked about Magic the Gathering inspired gameplay here. Let's talk more about the actual game here. So this is Edmund playing the game here. You have your gameplay here. I mean, people have talked about this to death, but you also have these like event roles as well. And this is obviously like Dungeons and Dragons here. Like he's a big, Edmund is an extremely big tabletop gamer, board games. He loves those even more than like video games. So this is it kind of coming through here. You have a party of 4 with their different classes, all Dungeons and Dragons classes, of course. You know, it's and kind of putting that through the lens of cat, putting that into the cat filter, the great cat filter. So that is what he does. You know, like you can say, oh, it's a little weird. It's like, I mean, I can say that like, you know, maybe the minigame thing made more sense with like the kind of Pokemon, the Sims, Tamagotchi thing, you know, where it's a bunch of minigames with cats and like all the NPCs are really designed for like one NPC per minigame. So you can argue that the design is maybe a little haphazard, but you know that's what makes it interesting. And of course, I think the characters will have their own role in the game to play. So what else have I talked about? You know. The cats, of course. Edmund is a cat owner. He's had many crazy different cats. And I was thinking about this when I was walking today. It's like, you know how he changed Max's head from the Flash Isaac game into Cricket's head? It's because, like, he's a cat person. It's like, that was like an error in like thinking. It's like he has been a cat-obsessed person for his entire life. And, you know, that's probably why he changed it. So he doesn't want dogs in his games because he's a cat. He's cat-pilled. He's got toxoplasmosis. He's totally, utterly possessed by felines. So, of course, inspirations for the game. Ren and Stimpy is one. Ren and Stimpy, MTV, all this stuff. Like, you can just, like, look through Edmund's, all his Q&A shit on Twitter. It's like all this stuff comes up over and over and over and over again. You know, Beavis and Butthead, Mike Judge, MTV. I mean, also with the NPCs and whatnot, I would say it's kind of inspired by like reality shows. Like, let's see if I can go back to the event here with Tink. You know, Tink is obviously like your stereotypical gay guy, and it's like that's a stereotype that Edmund really enjoys because he doesn't care. He thinks gay is still being gay is still funny in the year 2026, and you know, maybe I could agree with him. But you know, he's a big fan. Again, I've talked about this. I'm repeating myself 2 million times, 7 million times. You know. The stereotypes, the trashy white trash, you know, low income, you know, flyover state, you know, rubbish. That this is what he grew up around, and well, he lives in California, but you know, he still embodies the culture, you know, just these you know, these people and that are human rubbish. He loves them, and he wants to make games about them because he thinks they are interesting. And, you know, all this weird cartoony crap he likes, you know, I'm rambling. It's like, you just need the eyes to see this shit because it's everywhere. It's everywhere through his work. So, also Pokemon. Pokemon's a big influence in this game. I need to emphasize that. Some of the moves in the game are taken right out of Pokemon. There's like Fury Swipes. There's like the elemental punches. They're all there. It's interesting seeing that all come up, and it's like, I'm soy facing. Oh my god, is that thing from game I played in my childhood? It's like, yeah, it's cool. It's cool. All right. I talked about board games. Talked about the inspirations. Talked about video games that inspired this game. Board games inspired this game. Music that inspired this game. Like the kind of offbeat jazzy style and whatnot. You know, that's all the stuff he likes. It's stuff he likes basically, and I'm just zorging out about it. Okay. Also, I should say this is going to be like the game that Binding Isaac was like the predecessor to the prelude, the prototype, because Binding Isaac was a 3-month prototype game jam game, and he wanted to make a big roguelike game with Team Meats, but I guess Mewgenics wasn't it, but it eventually became it because that's what Edmund wanted to work on. So again, he just works very slowly, but his ideas will come out in time. So people talking about the gameplay. I don't really care about the gameplay, honestly, because I think that's going to be better experienced, let's see here. Like I want to make these decisions for myself rather than watching this fat, bald, ugly man make them for me, So I am quite looking forward to playing the game, but I also just want to see more of Edmund's personality in the game and like what weird, creative, offbeat decisions he makes in his game. I want to see that. Let's skip through a bit here. I've been watching all the streams and whatnot, all the gameplay streams, all the worlds. Hey, the bear that dies miserably. All right. So I've talked about gameplay, arts, inspirations, the origins of the game. I now kind of want to get into theory crafting because these are my predictions. I really wanted to make this video just so I can make some predictions about the game and, see if I get them right or not. So this is the teaser trailer for the game. First off, it starts immediately with this.
In other ghastly news, the mother of that child that went missing a few years back is also missing.
Okay, first off, that should immediately raise alarm bells. It's like, if you've been following Mewgenics, it's like, who is the actual protagonist of the game? Who's the one hoarding all these crazy cats? And it's like, as soon as you hear that, and as soon as you see the game takes place on a house on a hill, your first immediate guess is that Isaac's mom is the protagonist of the game. And it's like, I feel like that is too extremely obvious. There's going to be some twist on that. There's got to be some weird quirk about that because it's so fucking obvious. It's like, how can you listen to all these trailers and think that the protagonist is not Isaac's mom, but some random other character? It's like it's probably going to be Isaac's mom, but I feel like that's too obvious. So there might be some twist on that. There might be some weird twist on that. So that's the one thing I'm really interested in seeing about this game. And of course, one thing I do also want to mention is that what is the big twist of this game? You're making cats. What's going on with it? What's that all going to lead to? And I think you can probably see what's going to happen in this original trailer. Cat gets so fat, and then they're all dancing. They're all aware. The nukes go off. I think there are going to be nuclear explosions in this game. All right. I think one of the levels is the lab or something with the nuclear warheads in it. So I imagine, at some point in the game, like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, the world is going to become a nuclear wasteland. Because you also have to understand this is the game that's also tying all of Edmund's games together. And he has a post on his X, the everything app. I'm doing the gesture with my hands. If you know. He also did TikTok about this. It's what is the official timeline of his game? And these are the games he actually cares about, and all are relevant for the game. So Time Fuck, he puts his first here, but in a TikTok he also said that it's also happening concurrently with everything at the same time. So Steven is a big character in the game. So I do wonder that this is my third thing. What is Steven's role in the game? What? I know I saw from a trailer or something, some video, is that he is also the character that pops up when you try to save scum or if your game crashes or whatever, and you're loading a save. That's what happens. So obviously he's the person between time. He also appeared in The End Is Nigh, of course, and there's kind of this undercurrent through his later games with Steven popping in them. He is actually the protagonist of the Edmund-verse, but that we can talk about that later. Of course, Bumble, Isaac, Mewgenics / Meat Boy. So this is interesting. Mewgenics / Meat Boy. Of course, if Tommy Fennis didn't fuck everything up, Meat Boy would have been in the game and would have been relevant in some capacity. But of course, he fucked everything up because I need to make more money off Meat Boy. I need to make more money off the Meat Boy because I had no ideas of my own. So I'm just going to bankroll on a character I didn't even make, and I'm the programmer of a game that is the sequel to the game that I had no involvement in. And it's the only thing I made besides Meat Boy with Edmund was Gray Matter, which was a shitty shooter clone. It's bro, get a fucking grip. Get a fucking grip, dude. So anyways, Meat Boy is not Tommy's. Meat Boy is Edmund's. It is his child. It is his idea. It is canon. It is canon. I don't fucking care what copyright law says. It is his. Fuck Tommy Rufenis. Anyways, so it's supposed to happen concurrently. I guess Ultra Flesh Kid will be happening instead of Meat Boy. And then you have The End Is Nigh. Obviously, I mean, that's obvious because that's the game that takes place after the bombs go off, and Ash had his toenails stuck in the car door or whatever, or you know what I mean. Yeah, I'm paraphrasing the ending. He had some kind of nail stuck in the door, but yeah. So this is the timeline. I'm really interested to see like how everything is going to be combined. His whole creative universe, like the Badlands, Gish, Time Cuck, of course, Aether. I want to see how all this kind of converges, and like if these characters from these other games also have a significant role. If I had to guess, I think it's mostly going to be Steven that's going to be mostly important from his other games, and Isaac, of course, but he's dead. So, and Isaac's mom, of course, Isaac's mom being the protagonist, maybe. I'm wagering on it, but I'm just interested to see how it all kind of blends together. Like Pishai is an enemy in the desert, and I imagine maybe like a wetling will appear, dumplings maybe, all that other stuff. I'm hoping that this is my personal quest. I'm hoping that Hera from Gish, my wife, will be in the game. I'm the gray equivalent to the Gish, because I like her. Okay, I want to see how she comes up in the game. Maybe she'll be like I heard in the game there's like random like super rare like non-cat party members you can get. Maybe like a cameo appearance. One of them would be pretty cool. I don't know. Also one thing, Guppy. Guppy is probably going to be a big thing in the game somehow. Or like in the recent features trailer, you had Guppy lives as graffiti in one of the scenes. I pulled it up, but I'm too lazy. I'm especially interested to see how that's going to be involved because Guppy, of course, Evan's cat, Evan's beloved, and Isaac's cat as well, also dead. So I'm especially interested to see how that comes together. That's probably why you moved to Max actually, because Isaac takes place in the same universe as Mewgenics, which is weird because in Mewgenics you have all these freaky, gross monstrosities in Boone County, and Isaac is also imagining them. But like the implication of Isaac is that like these are monsters he's imagining, while he dies in the chest, and it's like, so he lives in a world with these monstrosities. It's like, bro, I do the same fucking thing. It's like I would not want to. I don't want to be crushed to death by Boris, okay? So that's, again, it's interesting. I just want to see how this all comes together. That is what I am most interested in. And so, what else here? NPC party. Oh, yes, I also want to talk about the NPCs of the game. This is something that I think is especially interesting. So you have all the... my scroll bar would work. Okay. It's working when it feels like it. All right, so... Dr. Beanies, of course, some people speculate that he's related to the spewer scientist, which I think is probably likely, but I don't think it's the same character, because, I mean, maybe it is, but, like, I would assume it's, like, kind of related, but not him. Maybe he's, like, a brother or something, or, like, a distant family member of scientist or something. But we'll see. I can be proven wrong on that. It's up in the air in that one. It's, like, I mean, I could see a good case being made that it is actually the same character as the scientist in spewer, but, I don't know. They're kind of two different characters because the scientist in Spewer was making Spewer to kind of resuscitate his I'm trying to remember what happened in Spewer. I think it was his wife or something. She was sick or something, and Spewer was a cure for her. So Spewer's an interesting game. We should probably talk about that sometime more. One thing here, Butch and Tink. People have been speculating. What are with these characters? They look kind of identical. So Tink has the same kind of brown tuft of hair as Butch does here. And it's like, I think they are twins. Why do I think they are twins? Because they both have Gemini as their sign, and Gemini is the sign of twins, and they both have the same sign, which means they would be born close together. So I assume they are separated twins. I'd assume like they were separated maybe at, I don't know, birth or something, because it's like Butch and Tink both kind of don't really hang around each other. So it's like, and Butch is kind of like shady, like in the alleyway, so he could be like an abandoned child or something, whereas Tink is the super successful, super gay, let's be, oh my god, guys, oh my god, do you have a gaydar? It's like, yeah, I can literally read Tink's voice in my head when it reads his lines, so I imagine they're related in some way, and you'll see that in game. But you have the other characters as well. Baby Jack, I'm sure they'll have their use. I don't really know where their character's going to be taken, and that's why I'm looking forward to the game, so I can figure out, because I can't really breathe into Edmund's mind about what the fate of these characters are, what the world will lead to. See what their quotes are. If God didn't want me to experiment on cats, then why am I alive? Walk it off. Nona says don't chomp. My wife would get a kick out of that one. God, I love my wife. His wife is a man, I assume. And then you have Frank here. You cannot impregnate Frank. He would not be able to consent. It's just for those who are wondering. And then you also have Tracy here, who I think is probably an interesting character. Like, you can definitely imagine. Tracy probably sounds like that secretary from Monsters Inc. Like, I don't use the word pet. I prefer the term animal companion. That's how I'm gonna beat her in my mind. So yeah, I think these the original Mewgenics prototype also had more NPCs as well. There's like some shady guy as well. Also, I think those characters are cut, but they'll probably come back in the DLC or something. But this version of Mewgenics also has the organ grinder, which is a cut design for Ash in The End Is Nigh. He's being repurposed here. I don't have an image on him, but you can just look it up. You'll see him. He's got like the bandages all over him. He shows up when your cats all die. And of course, there is one more big character here. Let me go find. This is the Mewgenics comic, by the way. That scan. I just got. This is piracy, man. You're pirating with the Mewgenics comic. I'm just like, I just want to read it, man. Let's see here. You also have. Where is it? Steven! Steven has his own bio here. This has not been featured elsewhere. So I imagine if he's this significant, he's going to be... if he's appearing among these other characters, he's going to take a pretty significant role in the story. So I think, I mean, there might be some time shenanigans here. Like, in Mewgenics, I definitely know there's going to be the aliens, of course, because the aliens have been shown. There's going to be like a moon chapter as well. So things are going to get totally crazy and off the walls here. So I mean, I don't really know what he might do, but I imagine because he's so prominent in this game, like you see in the menu as well. It's like here, is it here? You have a bunch of sketches here in the menu of the settings. Open it up, Edmund. Who's this right here? We have Steven. So like if he also pops up in all the different incarnations of the intro. The intro's been played a few times in like streams and whatnot of Mewgenics, and like sometimes it's changed each time. Again, the Simpsons couch gag, but it's not just Stacy at the end that is mutated. You also have Stacy's Dr. Beanie's cat, by the way. You also have like Steven kind of pops out of the caves at one point, like in like one version of the intro, like he pops out the caves, and I also saw on a stream that like he also shows up on the main menu here as well. So. He is going to be quite important. I don't know in what capacity, but he is going to be quite important. Steven from Time Skunk, which is also a game I should definitely talk about as well, because that's kind of the glue that is the glue. That's like the emotional core of Edmund's games. That kind of, it's a whole thing. This is the Mewgenics video. I've talked way too much already about it. So, I talked about my theories. I'm actually talk about more about this comic book here. You have a lot of different artists here. Like again, this is why more people should be obsessed about Mewgenics, because it's like. Who is this? It's Jonah Vasquez who made fucking Johnny the Homicidal Maniac and Invader Zim. So if you like Invader Zim, why have you not wishlisted Mewgenics immediately? Like if you were a kid in the 2000s who watched Invader Zim on Nickelodeon and obsessed about it and wore all the merchandise from Hot Topic, why are you not talking incessantly about Mewgenics right now? So yeah, this is like a fun little activity book, which is a remake of the book that was given out at PAX again during this version of Mewgenics. With all the collaborating artists again, and then likes seeing what artists do as well with their own damn. Tyler did a comic here. That's funny. Tyler is really programmer maxed, so you know it's not art is kind of secondary to him, but he's got some funny comics I've seen. You know, he did that, but this is stuff that's reused from the original comic as well. You also have these other artists who did their own pieces here. This one here, can I zoom in here? This one was done by the Garbage Pail Kids artist, Tom, what's his name? Tom Bunk. So again, another artist Edmund likes, weird, outsider, gross shit, poop, crap, vomit, scat, crap that he likes. Yeah, this is what he likes, and you know, he also commissioned a piece for his home with his family in this style. What the hell? You have the cat in the hat here? Is that Butch? Oh my god. It's interesting to see what people are going to do, and this is why Mewgenics is my most anticipated game in 5 years. And again, this kind of goes over the origin here as well. You have a bunch of artists cameoing here as well. Jonah Vasquez. Who did this one? Boone County? Huh. I don't know if it's Boone with an E at the end or... Hang on, which video is it? Boone with an E or Boone without an E? I think it's without an E now. It might have changed, but it doesn't matter. And it's just is dyslexic. Does it matter? As long as you can pronounce it correctly, right? Oh wow, nice little paste in this comic here. Also, guess who did this one? Jesus Christ, Christine Weston Chandler. If you know, you know. There is also Sony Shock in the back here. Again, this is definitely an interesting art style. Like Sony Shock is definitely like I've not seen an artist ever have that art style before. But all right, one more thing. You also have. I gotta scroll up here. Where is it? Rich Warner of Plants vs Zombies fame. What the hell is this shit, man? This looks like something I would draw. But yeah, I think I've kind of talked about to kind of close. I guess it's like I want to talk about like what the themes of this games are. The games are this video game Mewgenics releasing in 2026 is. It's like it's not just a game about cats, right? Like there's more to a game than cats. Like Isaac is more than a game about a kid dying in a chest. I would say Isaac's kind of theme and message. I mean, if I might postulate about this here and get on my high horse, I'd say it's a game about escapism, about the perils of that. Plunging yourself into a world that you feel powerful and having a power fantasy. That's also what Bumbo's about, and becoming strong and kind of neglecting the real world and moving into that fake world more than the real world. And that's also what kind of Time Cuck is about. Escapism is like Edmund's big thing with this game, but Mewgenics seems like it's slightly diverting from that. It's like originally the Mewgenics, I think in some Q&A thing, I said like Edmund said that like he was making Mewgenics because he feels that animals are more honest than humans, and honesty is a big thing that he really values in work. Honesty as an artist, as as a creative, as an independent. It's like being as clear and down to earth and humble about what you make and who you are, and that is the most important thing to Edmund. It's like being honest, and that's like the number one thing on his like 13 do's and don'ts in indie games. Go look that up. And but this version, now that it's not the year of 2013 anymore, now that he has 2 kids, now that he's a dad, I think he said that on several occasions that Mewgenics now is about legacy. It's like, what are you leaving behind? It's like, what duties you have to impart onto successive generations or other people. It's like, I mean, maybe the cats kind of play on that, but I think we're probably gonna have to see more like what's in the game, what actually happens in the game to really kind of explore that theme. That's really what I'm most interested in. Is like what is the core of Mewgenics, and it's like we're gonna have to play that and find out and see where it goes. So I'm really interested to see where that comes from. I guess one more thing is also kind of like a subtle kind of parody and joking about like scientific advancement and like lack of ethics as well. Dr. Beanie's exemplifies that with his crazy experiments on cats, being debatably the whole name Mewgenics, eugenics. Eugenics is the shunned aspect of scientific endeavors. We can't breed desirable traits in humans. We can't breed out diseases, because it's an ethics issue. It's like God's plan, of course. The religious aspect of it, Edmund's Catholic upbringing, I think his grandma being Catholic and his mother's side being Catholic, his father's side being Protestant, that kind of aspect in it. And that's, of course, that kind of religious theme, white trash, trailer trash theme, backwater America, strip mall churches, that kind of stuff. That's probably going to be an aspect as well, but it's probably going to take a back burner in comparison to Isaac, who was made because it was a religious piece, but it became kind of more of like an escapist piece, I would say, later in its development. But that's a whole thing. I will talk more about Isaac and its endings in another video, but this is the Mewgenics pre-release video. I think I've gone over everything in a very ranty, unprofessional, incoherent manner, but maybe you learned something. Maybe you learned something from my incoherent ramblings, my sniffling ramblings. And it's just like I just wanted to talk about the game and get the shit off my chest, so I could say I told you so when Isaac's mom turns out to be the protagonist, when the bombs go off, when Stacy's the final boss and she mutates into a giant cat wall, whatever. That's you can thank me, because I'm on the ball on this. And people are probably going to be confused by the Lord Mewgenics. It's like, what the hell is me, man? I'm going to be like, yeah, I get it, because I know who Edmund is as a person. I know what his intentions are. And it's like, wishlist Mewgenics, buy the game when it comes out, February 10th, 2026. That is in 6 days from now. I want your ass buying this game and playing it and talking about it. Like, I don't care about High Guard or whatever these other fucking games are coming out. It's like, even most indie games, because indie games are just like, I want to take Zelda 2 or Metroid, and like I want to make it into a roguelite deck builder. It's like, I guess Edmund also made his game into a fucking roguelite, into the Breach XCOM clone, but it's different, okay? Because Edmund is better. Edmund is just better. He's better than your fucking game, so. And this is new. What other game you breed 10 million cats and give them fucking feline AIDS? So, wish list the game, buy it, talk about. I'm gonna be playing it February 10th. I'm gonna be going spoiler free. I think the review embargo is up February 6th, so. I'm gonna go. It's gonna be a total media blackout for me. Like, thankfully, Mewgenics isn't a totally popular game, so it's probably more easy to dodge spoilers. But I definitely want to see what Edmund is doing with this game, and I'm very, very interested in where it will go. And a game, of course, the actual game with all the abilities and classes and crap is gonna be great. So I'm looking forward to that. But I will enjoy that part as well because I enjoy Isaac. But I also enjoy Isaac because it's not just a video game; it's an experience. Okay, it's a auteur, eccentric, individualized experience. Okay, you can't say that about a lot of games. Like, there's a direct connection. If you are not talking about an Ed McMillan game without mentioning his name, you are doing something wrong. You are doing something wrong. Like, I know Tyler is involved in the design of this game, but like the whole, it's copyright McMillan Games. It's his game. It's his game, all right? It's not fucking Meat Boy, where it can also be Tommy Fernandez, okay? It's his game. It's his fucking game. Go wishlist it. Go buy it. Go fuck yourself.